Hey guys. All right, I just want to address a misconception maybe that someone had expressed, and I hear it a lot, and it has to do with what SSD and SSI, and then in theory, I suppose it would also be SSR, Social Security Retirement, what they don't do for you that some people apparently think is a must, and that the fact that it's not is some sort of big scheme. All right. SSD, Social Security in general, is not based on your standard of living you've decided for yourself of your lifetime. It is not based on anything like that. It is what you pay for, what you pay in your lifetime is what you're going to get when you trigger coverage later. So if you say, well, my God, I live in Manhattan. How can I afford my $4,000 a month apartment on this? I'm only, bringing in 2,500, which is above average, I might add. And they think that's a travesty, and it is, because maybe you choose to live in Manhattan and pay $4,000 for a half bedroom apartment, or a travesty because you haven't been thinking ahead. We're all going to get, regardless of disability, in theory, we are all going to become unable to work. We're either going to die while still working, and we could be 90, or at some younger age, or we become disabled officially, and we are relying again on that the same amount as our retirement, but we're just taking it early, right? So we always have to have, in my opinion, and I'm late to this ball game, mind you, but I understand it more now, and I've been working hard since I've had a family to try to regroup my thinking and get a little bit more proactive in planning for my future for that rainy day. So when you think about, well, I live in Bel Air and it costs, $10,000 a month to live here, and that Social Security isn't going to cover that for me. Well, that's not what it's designed to do. If you buy car insurance that only pays out $10,000 and you have $20,000 of damages, guess what? They're not going to just pay you the extra 10 because you say you need it. It's not, or want it, or whatever. That's not how it works. You either take care of yourself and plan accordingly, budget accordingly, downsize, whatever, or you'll see what you get. You're going to get evicted, or your house is going to go into foreclosure. So when we're facing these kind of things, and we really should be planning well in advance, but they took all of this planning out of high school years ago. One might wonder why. We have to start learning that from the time we enter adulthood at the very latest, putting away a tiny, tiny bit amount at the very least, not touching it when we want to get that new PlayStation, right? Or that latest iPhone or whatever. We have to learn that we are supposed to take care of ourselves. We are adults. This is the animal kingdom, all right? Yes, humans have gone and interfered with that a little bit, and we do take care of our own needy people, or supposedly that is a theory we do. We can all differ on whether that's done sufficiently. But for those of us that are not disabled or seniors, where work slows down or stops, yeah, it's on us. Pull up our own bootstraps. Don't ask our neighbor to do it for us. Sounds harsh, but when I see people saying, well, I didn't take care of myself, but how dare they not take care of me? How come they don't give me a bigger benefit? Well, this is what you chose. This is what you chose, right? And with SSI, it may or may not be the choice, right? Because when you're on SSI, it's because your SSD or SSR either doesn't exist or is beneath the SSI basic federal benefit rate of poverty, so to speak. And you get a much smaller amount than even what an average Social Security amount would be. Of course, there's other perks that come along with it. Oftentimes you can get housing assistance from different welfare programs around the country, in your county or whatever, food stamps, etc. So the amount you get, like in 2024, is $943. By the time you get all your benefits, you're probably talking a few thousand. But in any event, when people say I can't, that's not going to be sufficient for me to blah, blah, blah. Well, then fix your budget. Make different choices. You're going to insist on living in Bel Air, then you might have to live under the bridge in Bel Air. you know. I have seen, I know people who live on very, even under the average Social Security amount because they had a weaker work history, income generation. Maybe they didn't work all the years. They took off for a variety of reasons. Some of them very good. Maybe they were raising a family, didn't realize that little part-time work might have prevented that. There's a lack of education out there on this, but they go and they downsize. And there are many ways to do that. I am learning about them all now as I plan for those later years, which, by the way, the later years could always be sooner rather than later. It could be I become disabled tomorrow, right? So we here, my husband and I, have tried to take a step where should something go awry, let's say one of us passes, when one of us passes, then, the other one's left with just the one benefit. So while our retirement savings is not what it should be, because we were definitely late bloomers and we still have kids that are minors. So as many of you parents know, that's like, all your money goes while you're in real time. But we've been trying, but we did take measures to learn about and secure a alternative living location, very downsized. We happen to love it, and I just want to move there tomorrow. But and where one could live literally for, I'm thinking you could probably do it for $1,000 a month. That includes the shelter costs. At $1,000 a month, if that's all somebody had, they'd probably have food stamps. But so maybe if in terms of food, maybe you'd need more like $1,200, and I'm talking about for one person could do that, right? If there's going to be two people there, then obviously they both, would be contributing, but they'd be eating more food. But the electricity bill would be the same by and large. Water bill might be tweaked just a hair if there's, two people showering. But this is doable, but you have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone, not expect your neighbors to pay for you to stay in your Bel Air location. And, I guess the way I look at it, and this is just my perspective, doing it now while you can, it's so relieving. It is so relieving. And doing it now while you can, it's easier than scrambling and doing it later when you don't have the resources and the abilities and the capacities that you have now. So I think we all need to learn, and I didn't learn this. So I was in the same boat as most people I talk to. It behooves us to teach our young people the art and the skill and the I suppose some might call it a sacrifice, but back in the day, I think it was a normal thing of saving for that rainy day, because the rainy day will always come. It's like taxes and the sun setting or the sun rising, right? I have to put it out there that we are each responsible for ourselves, even for preparing for if we become disabled. And obviously, this would exclude people who are disabled from childhood, right? We're talking a generality here about able adults. We have to take care of our castle, whether that means getting a more affordable one, moving out of an area that's going to tax the heck out of you, whichever the case may be. So we started to do it, and I'm really, really happy about it. We only started this past spring, and it is now beginning of September, first half of September. And we made some choices. We had done a little savings prior thereto, which, had become easier, 5, 6, 7 years ago to do. And that's what enabled us to do it. We're not really saving right now because prices are so high, but hopefully we won't be digging into any remaining savings to stay afloat, and keep food in the fridge. But at least we secured this other thing. So very thrilled about that. Just trying to plan for that rainy day. I think no plan for a rainy day is something to regret. I'm a low maintenance person. I don't require a lot, as you can see. I live simply, and that's it. So anyway, guys, yeah, Social Security and SSI, they're not meant to keep you in the lifestyle to which you have become accustomed. That would be your divorce attorney. right? So don't expect it. Look at what you paid in for it. You get what you paid for, and then figure it out. You can do this. There are probably professionals out there that can help you do it, show you how to downsize, do X, Y, Z. I have to say, I haven't listened to him recently, but I do love Dave Ramsey because he really cuts to the chase. And if he could see my history, he'd be like, oh, girl, you're a train wreck. Yeah, I pretty much was. Wasn't really always thinking everything's going to go on forever and I got to get where I got to get. And then I can, start arranging. Not true. We all need to start as soon as we're 18, in my opinion. Maybe start with that IRA. Okay. Anyway, ciao for now, guys. That's my 2 cents on this issue. Bye.